So here's Dorado, day 36. And I have hit a little bit of a wall as far as getting on him and being able to get him to go forward. So I put him back in the small pen to see if I could work on getting him to go forward. So he feels very tense and kind of bowed up feeling kind of through his back. Right there, I just had him flex a little bit. Now I'm going to pop on him sideways and have him move around while I'm sideways. This is how I kind of started him to get him comfortable with me on him while he moved. And so I'm trying just to get him to cross over through his hind end to get those back muscles to soften up. But you saw there he kind of overflex, and he'll keep his head kind of really tucked in tight, and then he's really balled up and he has nowhere to go. So right now I'm trying to think of ways to help him move. So I asked him to back up. I know he's pretty good at backing up. I'm just trying to get him to follow his nose with his body, but he just wants to be a little stuck and get flexed. So I'm trying to let him go forward, but then all he wants to do is go back, and then the feeling that he has is that this is where I could possibly get an explosion to come out. So then that's why I'm going to go sideways, and then he goes and he moves forward. So that's telling me that we are having a little bit of a mental block. So when I sit up straight, he just wants to stop and he doesn't want to go anywhere. But the minute I go a little sideways or horizontal, he's willing to walk forward. So that tells me that I have to kind of help him push through here a little bit. So I'm trying to get him to follow his nose and give him little bumps, and then see there, the minute I go a little horizontal, he goes, oh, no problem, I can go forward. So now I'm just going to ask him to back up again, give him a couple of bumps on the halter. He just wants to kind of turn his head a little bit. And then give him rubs. He's been pretty much one of the toughest ones I've ever had for generally when I can get them to understand to go forward. They're pretty willing to walk forward. But he kind of wants to get a little stuck and not want to move his feet around. And then we get a little bit of the hissy fit, throwing our head up and down behavior. So just taking a moment just to stand here and wait a minute. See if I can't reset the button to get him to go forward. And so the minute he goes forward again, I'm not asking him to flex. He's flexing himself on his own. So again, I'm just going to sit there, ask him again to go forward. There, I'm able to get a couple of steps. And again, I'm asking him to follow his nose. And then you saw he had that up and down head movement. And sometimes that would lead kind of in the past when he would toss his head up and down is when he would kind of pitch a fit and jump up and down with me. So you'll see I'll be turning him around, trying to turn him around in a circle, just trying to get those feet to move, trying to not let him bite my leg. And I'm not overly asking him. It's a pretty capable, easy thing. I'm just trying to get him to walk forward. And there we took a couple of steps forward. I'm going to really ask him to send forward because he's just stuck. getting him to send forward. Walk forward. I'm just trying to tell him to walk forward. So then sometimes I've had the problem where he will go forward and then he tries to take off with me, or we stop and we get stuck, or he throws this little temper tantrum where he jumps up and down. And now finally, I feel like, now mind you, this was only 15 minutes this session was. I was able to get him to work through and to just go forward. And this was a big deal for him because this was the first time I was able to trot on him. So every other time we had been just walking, and then I would feel him tense up, and that's when I would get off. So today was kind of a big day for that. Now afterwards, after that 15-minute session that I did, I actually had a lesson show up. So I popped off and we went and set up a couple of jumps, and then I decided to play around again and hop back on and follow another horse. And I used the cavaletti. Now I've lunged him over the cavaletti several times. Sometimes I've found that it can give them something to focus on and to go forward. And leave it to Dorado. He did it, pretty good the first 2 times, and then he's trying to figure out ways to get around it. So you'll see I switched. I took the halter and big lead rope off because it was jingling a lot, and so I was thinking that maybe that was causing him an annoyance, and that's why I was getting kind of the head turning thing. So I put on just like this cavesson that I have. And he's still trying to do the same kind of little moves, but finally get a couple of steps where we're trotting forward, which is nice. Now, mind you, we're heading towards the gate, towards the barn. And he tends to be a little bit barn sour this early on, but you kind of take the forward momentum where you can get it. And again, sometimes he just likes to put the Dorado accent on things. And he's been a pretty interesting character. But I finally get some really nice kind of forward steps, nice and straight, and that's where I ask him for the stop. You see I push my feet forward and give him a good rub. And we had a couple of breakthroughs today, so working on tomorrow.